of these comfort picks, because when you give them the comfort picks, like Fnatic and G2 are not in top form. Mad Lions are, which is why if this upset happens, it's so massive.
And it seems really standard for teams that play against Mad Lions now. It's almost always going to be like a Senna ban you have to remove. I'm almost a little surprised to see the Volibear ban when I still love it when Shadow locks in that Lee Sin. So something Misfits do have to keep their eyes on, especially because Razork is another big Lee Sin player in the league. Like, Lee Sin, not always the most contested pick, but when Misfits play Mad Lions, I'm definitely looking at that.
It kind of tells me that they don't want to burn the blue priority 1 pick on a Volibear, which a lot of teams have been happening, especially at the ERL level. And so either they're trying to force Shadow onto a Lee Sin if they don't ban it here because they have a counter pick in mind, maybe something like a Rek'Sai, or they want some specific jungle curated matchup.
Yeah, of course, talking about that jungle curated matchup, just interesting note here, Volibear not played a single time yet by Misfits throughout summer. Twice played in the hands of Shadow, both of them victories. Senna, Syndra, Thresh, and there's that Lee Sin taken out the pool. Both Shadow and Razork have run that 4 times apiece. So we see what both of these junglers are going to land on Ender. There's 1 ban left, and Misfits have got first pick priority.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still wondering, like, the Humanoid Orianna, like, Misfits weren't able to ban that away. Do they feel like first picking it for FEBIVEN? I don't know. He's only put 1 game on that himself so far this split. So this is, if I'm Mad Lions, I'm like over there like, oh yes, this is looking really good. We can lock in the Orianna, put Shadow on something comfortable that can gank early on into the game, and then build out around that central part of the map.
Of course, Misfits are one of the teams that do play the Kalista, so I'm glad that they're getting Kobbe, that big power pick again. I still think that protecting Razork is going to be the most important thing, though, because he seems to be kind of the first breaking point a lot for when Misfits start to collapse. We know that if you give him resources, if he does shine and does have those pop-up moments, that they find success. So happy to see Kobbe on Kalista. Now I want Razork on something that can also plug into that lane, and they can play really hard through this bot lane.
It's the second time that we've seen Kalista in the hands of Kobbe. He lost the previous time that he played it. Carzzy has run 3 Ezreal games, 3 Senna games, 2 Kalista. And this will be the first time that we see him on the Varus. Interesting to see him running the Varus because we've had that discussion so many times around how they've let that Varus through. I'm going to throw to you, Frost, because I know you've been one that's been screaming from the rooftops how Mad Lions were not afraid of the pick.
Yeah, and it's also the fact that you have a very aggressive bot lane all across from you in the Kalista Nautilus. I'd imagine that you'd handshake on the Azir here.
Waiting for that lock-in. And it's going to be the Gangplank that is now locked in. So we've got the duo, we've got that sort of blind pick top laner for Dandan.
Yeah, so Misfits are already telegraphing it's all about bot lane, right? Because like GP, strong weak side top laner, he has ultimate level 6 trying to impact bot side. And now Misfits have to be really concerned, especially if Razork gets a strong jungle matchup. Misfits can play very easily around bot lane, around early dragons, try to snowball that, swap into top of the Herald. Like, Misfits have a very clear early game plan, and that's why we're seeing the Tahm Kench come in, because like, okay, look out. We know they're going to be throwing a whole lot at us down in the bot lane. Carzzy, as long as we can get you through this laning phase, obviously the poke is going to be...
And there is a lot on the line here for Kobbe. Remember, Kobbe left Splyce at the end of last year. Splyce became Mad Lions. In that Match of the Week video, he talks about how impressed he is with Carzzy and the Mad Lions as a team. In much the same way when Hans Summer plays against Misfits, that former org, those former potential teammates, there's bragging rights, there's ego, there's a lot of emotion on the line. There's the Azir. Frostgren, you mentioned it could have been handshook. It has now been banned away. And the Olaf has now been removed from Shadow as well. So I'm interested to see where the jungle picks are going.
It's also kind of a question of what FEBIVEN's going to land on. He still does have the Corki available unless Mad Lions also pinch that one there. He could also go the LeBlanc route that we've seen a lot of different mid laners go. But still the fact that they blind picked the Gangplank so early on to make this so much about the bot lane, I need to see FEBIVEN also get on something to hopefully contribute down there, to roam down and start stacking with this Kalista and
I
this
absolutely
Nautilus.
love that the Twisted Fate's taken away. That would have absolutely fit the bill of everything that you were talking about. One of the options could be picked for him to accomplish that goal as now Renekton has been taken away. And we move into phase 2, Ender.
Yeah, so right now we're looking at a jungle pick for the Mad Lions. I think when you have Orianna and Varus, you want more zone control, peel potential, so I either think a Trundle or a Gragas slot in super nicely here. Both have slows from range, can help like disengage your fight or your team as well, and gives space for this Varus to poke away.
I actually think because you can see the Gangplank already, since it was blind pick, that I don't actually mind them just going for the top lane matchup here and saving counter pick for Shadow. Because again, I think like the primary breaking point for Misfits is if you break the jungle matchup. So Shadow versus
That's our
Razork.
first fiddle. That's our first fiddle.
Wow.
And then we've got Jayce as well. Okay, this is a very different look. Froskurin, what are you seeing?
Before I hand off Ender, just talk about Fiddlesticks. Obviously, because it's an AP jungler, that's why you have to go then for the AD mid laner here. Very strong into an Orianna matchup and has great river control. And now, Ender, go nuts on Fiddles.
Yeah, so there's a lot to go into this Fiddlesticks pick here. Obviously, it is going to be the main source of magic damage here, so a lot being put on Razork in this. Early game Fiddlesticks, not super impressive. Not a whole lot he can do, but his ultimate is one of the most powerful single spells in League of Legends currently. Coming out of Fog of War, you can stun an entire team, which is incredibly potent against a Tahm Kench, because you can not only fear him, but also the ally that he's trying to eat. So right there, you have a really sick combination, plus Fiddlesticks with the Gangplank to try and set up for his ultimate, where Fiddle needs that wind-up time. You have that long-range slow that a GP has to try and set him up and put him into the game. But vision control is going to be absolutely pivotal, because that's the most difficult thing with Fiddle, is actually getting into a spot where you can...
Oh man, vision control, will it work out? We don't have a lot of time. So quickly, will Misfits or Mad Lions win? Froskurin.
I really like Misfits' composition. I think Mad Lions are definitely the better team, but based on the drafts, I'm loving what Misfits have put together. So I guess screw it.
Oh
Misfits.
my word, you're predicting Misfits! That is so insane. Okay, Ender, final thoughts.
I mean, I have exactly the same thoughts as Frost. Like, I love what Misfits are doing. Mad Lions is a better team. I still think Mad Lions will win.
You can actually hear the smiles in our faces. This is the clash to close out the first half of LEC Summer. Let's send it to the casters and hit the rift.
And on to Summoner's Rift we go for the final game of this half of the split. Match of the week, Mad Lions versus Misfits. And Trevor said, Quickshot said, this is the first Fiddlesticks we have seen after the rework. We've only ever seen one Fiddlesticks before in the LEC ever as jungle, Vedius. It was 2017. Joko played it on Vitality and they lost. So... We'll
so it's doomed, is what you're telling me.
It's possibly doomed. It's very possibly doomed.
Let's talk about Fiddlesticks. Okay. So, Fiddlesticks did have a rework. I don't want to sit here and like go through all the changes that happened to him. I just kind of want to hit some of the big beats. Number one, his passive, the effigy. That kind of acts as his trinket. You can see it's a little bit different on the scoreboard compared to the others. Once he hits level 6, it can actually act as a control ward, effectively, which can be very potent. But that effigy can also be very deceptive in how it can be used, because, as Ender was saying, depending on how you use the effigy and depending on how you come out of Fog of War, all of your abilities now have the ability to fear. And because of that, he is super potent in these later game team fights. The other thing to talk about is his early game clear. Now, for anyone that may have seen it on Reddit, they were talking about how Fiddle can actually have one of the fastest clear speeds in the entire game because of his ability to do multiple camps at once, as you're seeing on your screen right now. Now, typically Fiddle is quite susceptible to early jungle invades, but because he's against the Gragas and because Orianna and Ornn don't actually have a huge amount of early lane priority, it's very difficult for Mads to punish him. So Razork can freely clear his entire top side. And look at this. Look at the difference. Razork is now level 3 with 3 camps already done. Shadow only level 2 with only 2 camps clear. Razork is power farming through this jungle, and notice the positioning that he's going to set up here to be able to do both his raid and his raptors.
Oh, I like
Shadow's
this.
actually looking for the invade.
Yeah, I really like this from Shadow, looking for the invade, knowing that Razork is susceptible to ganks. He steals away. Oh, he steals away all the little Razor Beaks and steals away the big one. So it's good from Shadow. It denies Razork some of that early jungle pressure.
So I didn't think that Shadow would be able to pull that one off, but he saw a window and he knew the pathing of Razork, so he was able to take advantage of that. And does it really hurt Razork? Not that much. but it's going to put him a little bit behind, and the early play is a good one from Shadow. So he's going to be able to pick up this blue buff. He will be able to hit level 3 as Razork looks to continue completing the rest of the jungle. Now this Fiddlesticks, his goal will be to just power farm. I don't expect a lot of early ganks. I think that his priority will be to get level 6 as quickly as possible. But when that level 6 hits, Medic, you got to be ready, because he's going to be ganking somewhere and people going to be scared.
I'm a little interested in the fact he's got an unsealed spellbook on the Fiddle jungle here. I want to see how he uses that throughout the game. Because you could look for, like, Predator swaps. Oh, no, not Predator, sorry. I'm thinking of a totally different thing. What's the one that switches your keystone around?
You mean Omnistone?
That's the one I was thinking of for a moment, but no. Unsealed spellbook, yeah, maybe he gets teleport. Maybe he gets ghost, runs into the lane just that little bit quicker. We'll see. He's going to get the topside scuttle right now. For the moment, we'd just be in a good position.
So the common rune choice that Endo is telling me about is usually Dark Harvest or Electrocute. Usually they contribute more to late game damage, and Electrocute you a little bit more in a burst, but Dark Harvest stacks up better as the game progresses. Deciding to go for the Unsealed Spellbook is definitely a little unconventional, not something that I've really seen before. So as you rightly said, it's going to be interesting to see how he pivots and what he does with it. Because I do think Fiddle is one of those champions that he's not reliant on Flash, but obviously when you don't have the Zhonya's, if you don't have your Flash, you're in a lot of danger. And maybe he looks to use it for things like the Ghost, as you were saying. So we'll see how he gets creative with it later on to the game.
For the moment, he hasn't switched anything around. Just going to keep on farming up his jungle. Just constantly clearing. It's a sight to behold just how quickly he can get through all of these camps. In the lane, though, we see Humanoid slightly ahead in mid lane. Just a few farm up. He's gone back. He's got himself double Dorans. Didn't have to burn his teleport, but nor did FEBIVEN as he went back to get himself a null magic mantle. Shadow is up towards this top side. Maybe just trying to help Orome. Could look for a gank, but there's a good ward there from Dan. And I think he just spotted Shadow on the edge of vision there. Yeah, there's a ping on Shadow, so Dan will just back away.
They're trading in the mid lane again. FEBIVEN.
Humanoid is getting some good damage back down onto FEBIVEN here, even though FEBIVEN is the one going in with that hammer form.
Good utilization of the phase rush there from Humanoid to be able to sidestep that burst from the FEBIVEN Q, because if that had hit, Humanoid would have been forced to back, but he's going to gamble a little bit. He's going to stick around. FEBIVEN does have the biscuit in his inventory. Notice the Carzzy and Kaiser are rotating up. They will be spotted out on awards. And FEBIVEN does have his flash as well, so he's going to be able to zoom out of that one.
Yeah, they don't really waste too much time in the bot lane. It looks like the wave is actually in a really good position for Kobbe here, just holding outside of his turret range. And we'll see if Kaiser and Carzzy decide to step back into this. Kaiser, well, that was bad. Like, Carzzy should not be stepping straight forward into this. He's going to have to flash away. DOS flash chases. There's a blast cone there, but Kobbe goes in, and there's first blood. Now Shadow is caught unaware as well as he tries to flash away, but he hasn't really got anywhere to go. Kobbe can chase him down, uses the heal for the extra movement speed, and here comes the cannon barrage. And that was, I mean, great stuff from Misfits, but Mad Lions just gave Misfits 2 kills.
And Misfits are now looking to secure themselves the first Drake of the game. Very quick punish, and something that we didn't get an opportunity to talk about is Kalista is typically very lane dominant, but when Varus is open, he's one of the few matchups that can actually bully and beat her during the laning phase. Which makes it harder to be able to get early advantages on the Kalista. But by finding this pick, Kobbe now finds himself with 2 assists. The flash has now been burnt from Carzzy, and this 2v2 in the bot lane now becomes a lot easier. So when we bring up that replay, as you rightly said, it was just a big mistake from Carzzy, face checking that brush, not recognizing that there could be a potential support here. You got to remember that. Notice, so oh, this is great, observers. Thank you for highlighting the vision here. So DOS just kind of moves through the fog, sneaks his way into the brush, and Mad must have thought that he reset here, because he actually held the wave to, I think, give time for Kaiser to reset and buy, which means that, oh, Tahm Kench is thinking, oh, hey, I'll reset too. Carzzy will just catch this next wave, not expecting DOS to be there. And I love the patience from DOS as well, because he's like, if Tahm Kench comes, we're in danger. So yes, a heavy commitment from Summoner Spells from Misfits to secure that kill, but definitely worth it for this early game advantage.
Yeah, maybe I gave Carzzy too hard of a time there. It was difficult for him to know that DOS was in that position, but you can't just go all the way around.
You could have just, no, you definitely weren't too hard on him, because that was a greedy path that he took. He should have gone around. You're definitely right in your criticism there, Medic. So definitely a big blunder for Carzzy. He's still going to be ahead a little bit in terms of farm.
Oh, Shadow. Okay. Oh, they didn't know FEBIVEN's here. They're going to TP in for this one. That's Kaiser who's going to join the party. Pretty sure, yeah, FEBIVEN puts a few question mark pings down. They know this is happening.
Razork has teleport, and he's level 6 Medic.
Oh, no, they didn't do anything. They're not going to do anything.
But you can see what I'm thinking though, right?
I love
You
the
can see
idea.
it.
And you can see, like, who needs smite? You can teleport around the map. I mean,
I would say most junglers need smite.
You still need smite at some point. But we'll see. I'm still intrigued to see how Razork actually uses this unsealed spellbook. He's got a lot of different options with it right now, as you say, sitting on the teleport. Does have Crowstorm as well.
Yep. And I think it was smart of Man to swap, because Razork was 100% looking to dive that bot lane. And something that Ender mentioned on the draft discussion was that Fiddle is actually very good into things like Tahm Kench, because you can fear both the support and the AD carry with your ultimates. So as a result of that, it's much harder to make full utilization of Tahm Kench.
Oh, TP flank top lane, here he goes! I'm so excited by this. The teleport coming in, there's the catapult as well. And here comes Fiddle! Carzzy goes down first. Kaiser tries to flash away, but the follow is there. Misfits 4-0 on the scoreboard.
Razork gets the kills in the top lane. The TP flank from behind. Oh, feels good to say that. I haven't been able to say it for so long, Medic. Fiddle in pro play is always fun to see, and I love the utilization of the teleport. We said that his goal was to kill that bot lane. He doesn't do it bot, though. He does it top. That deep wall was set up to enable that flank to happen, and Razork was able to find himself a double kill. Beautifully played. Great utilization of the spellbook. Misfits now sitting in a 2.5k gold lead.
A really strong position. Mad Lions unable to find an answer to this Fiddlesticks with unsealed spellbook. I will bring attention as well to the fact that Shadow has Dark Harvest on this Gragas.
Oh, so he does.
Yep. He will be stacking that up throughout the game. Not usually what we see. Of course, Predator tends to be the role for Gragas, just to get more ganks off. But for now, Shadow hasn't been able to find those ganks. And it has been Razork with the TP Fiddlesticks who has found more action on the map.
As a slight tangent, Ender always tells me how annoyed he gets with pro players because they seem to think that Predator was nerfed, but Ender's convinced the Predator was buffed and Predator's actually better now. So I'm pretty sure one of the things here is that Dark Harvest is seen as a slightly stronger option because of the changes that happened to Predator by some pro players. But as we did see from the previous game, I think Predator can still work because it is now on a slightly lower cooldown. And I think that it just offers a little bit more than what it used to. But in any case, he will be running that Dark Harvest. Notice that he's also 2 levels behind Razork right now, as Razork has gone for the hard power farm approach. And because of the early kills they were able to find, Razork was actually able to steal a lot of the enemy caps. He's at 84 CS, Medic. He's almost at the same farm as his laners right now.
We just saw on the screen, 4 of the Misfits players are in the top 4 of gold right now. Like Dan, Razork, FEBIVEN, and Kobbe are all ahead of anyone on Mad Lions. Misfits have had a really good start. Oh, Fetty, please don't scare me like that. Like, I'm not a fan of horror movies. I used to have nightmares as a kid, and then I'm sitting here, it's getting dark outside, and all I hear in my ears is this creepy Welsh voice going, "It's coming, medic." That you can see how that would scare me. You can see how that would scare me. And at the moment, Humanoid is a little bit scared as he's forced off in the mid lane. Rifthold is using the bottom lane to get Carzzy some gold on this Varus. He's sitting at the Umbral Glaive, and the dragon is up in 2 seconds' time. Vedius, it's coming.
Yeah, the Drake is going to be kicked off, but I don't think Mad want to try and fight for this right now. It looks like they're just going to have to concede this. That's going to be the second Drake of the game going in favor of Misfits. Very early and strong Drake control. And again, a lot of this came off the 2v2 kills that they found in the bot lane. And I think what's interesting is Fiddlesticks changes the dynamic of team fights. What did I say? Changes the dynamic of team fights so dramatically. His ultimate is so powerful.
Yeah.
And it synergizes so well with things like Gangplank ultimate as well that you can't just ignore it. So like when you, like Orianna, Varus, Ornn, still very strong team fighters, and I think we're going to be in for some explosive team fights, but because Misfits have the advantage right now, they pretty much get to dictate how the team fights happen and how they want to set those up. So right now, I think that Misfits is in a fantastic position, but these team fights are going to be explosive, and it's all going to be about which carriers die first.
And it's such a good position for Misfits to be in, not only for this game, but also where it puts them in terms of the rest of the split, right? Getting to the halfway mark and having a positive win-loss, being at 5-4, not being in that super clump of the 5 teams below you, but instead sort of positioning yourself ahead of the chasing pack is really good, of course. And Mad Lions, of course, they can still win this game. You know, they could be 8-1, but right now, Misfits continue to try and put the hammer down as Humanoid pops the shockwave, tries to get to the blast cone. Oh, but a great flash from FEBIVEN will chase Humanoid down. And now, actually, here we go. The Tahm Kench diving in the bot lane as Kobbe tries to get away. Cannon Barrage going to clear out the minion. Shadow jumping in. The exhaust doesn't do too much as Kobbe heals up, and here's Febby chasing it down. Carzzy as quickly as he can. Teleport used here by Mad Lions, but Kaiser's already quite low. Razork coming in, looking for the Crow Storm. Dredgeline doesn't quite connect. The corner of the Forge God will hit onto FEBIVEN, but here comes the Crow, and Kaiser will gobble up Carzzy, spinning him out. But already he's down. There's another as Carzzy falls. Razork feared away. And this Fiddlesticks takes the triple kill in the fight in the bottom lane.
Wow, so it starts off with Mad trying to find a dive in the... That was an ace because Humanoid got killed at Wolves as well. Only 14 minutes into the game and Misfits are slaughtering Mad Lions right now. This Fiddlesticks pick is coming up clutch. Razork now level 10. Oh man, this has been so huge. And Razork has, like, he's had a bit of a mixed split. Like, he's received a lot of criticism, so for him to have this huge game to end off the first half of the season has got to be a big deal for him. Now we can see...
Replay, Betty.
Yeah, this starts off with Humanoid getting caught out around the mid lane. Good setup from DOS to catch him unawares. Now, of course, Mad do the right thing. They're trying to punish Kobbe at the bot side, but Carzzy misreads which direction Kobbe is going to go into. He misses the ultimate. We don't have time because we've got more action.
Line hits in the mid lane. The shockwave comes out, though. Humanoid going to try and survive. There's no ward in the bush, but FEBIVEN doesn't need it. 2-1-1 on this Jayce. You can see the damage in the last team fight. That Fiddlesticks, 2.5 grand from the jungle position. He is absolutely popping off. Has his Zhonya's complete, but only 15 minutes in the game, Vedius, and he's already got 2 completed items and the Sorcerer Shoes.
Dude, and shout out to DOS the boss right now. This guy is a roaming machine. He is involved in 6 of the 10 kills. Yeah, he's been setting up plays in the mid lane. He's been playing through FEBIVEN, and FEBIVEN has been finding a lot of successful kills as a result of that. Now Misfits are going to secure. And like, this game is just happening so fast. This is like Misfits from last season, where they would get that early lead and they would just kind of propel and snowball off that advantage.
It reminds me so much of the Echo game we saw from Razork, right? Like, when he has a pick where he can take control of the game, he can just take everyone along for the ride with him, and everyone steps up to play at his level, right? And this just is so reminiscent of that. Like DOS, who, remember when he came in at the start of the split, had awful performances. He face-checked people as Karma, he was struggling. Now he's looking incredible. Kobbe's having a stellar performance. FEBIVEN is outmatching the player who statistically has been the best mid laner in the league through the first 4 weeks. Now, FEBIVEN might be caught out in the mid lane. Shadow gets the knockback, flash, tongue lash, but here goes Febby trying to kill out Carzzy. Can't quite get the damage down, so there will be a kill on to the Misfits mid laner for Carzzy.
Nice caster curse there, Medic. Good job. Just making sure that FEBIVEN's KDA doesn't get too inflated. But also, Kobbe now caught out.
Okay, so as soon as we praise anyone, they just start to die. Humanoid gets the kill on Kobbe. The chase is onto DOS now. Oh, dear God.
Fiddle?
I thought Fiddle was the only one who with the curse in this game, but DOS is going to fall as well. Oh, God, Betty.
Yeah, so Misfits, awful team.
I'm never speaking again. I'm never speaking. You do the cacaw sounds when the Crow Storm comes in. That's all the play-by-play we need.
Oh, Razork though, he's looking, here he comes!
There we are. There he goes.
Correct. Very pinpoint accurate play-by-play. Now the dragon has been
if I don't say that much about it.
The GP ultimate is not available. Razork doesn't have his ultimate either. We don't have time to break down all the Misfits fails right now because another fight's about to kick off. Medic, take it away.
FEBIVEN has a huge amount of damage. You can see the Fiddlesticks stepping forward there. Smite comes out from Shadow. He will secure it. Actually didn't even use the Smite. Oh no, he did. Just the side is updating as we go along. Kaiser, though, is going to chase down as Shadow dies. You can see Fiddle using that drain just to keep Kaiser low. He can get to the blast cone and will be able to escape for the moment.
Thumbs up comes from Kaiser as Mad will reclaim some control in this game. They're still at a massive deficit, Medic. They're going to lose 2 towers. And while they did get the Drake, they're definitely not in a position where they can really challenge out. Ultimate comes out from Humanoid.
He's able to survive underneath the tower now, but Misfits continue to up the tempo of this game. A sizable gold lead for them, almost 7,000 gold ahead. Razork jumping forward here, Kaiser's on the chase. Carzzy's already used the Chain of Corruption, but the knockback on Razork. He pops the stopwatch. He's going to try and survive as Kobbe goes in. There's a fate's call as well. Doss jumping onto the back line and Shadow's already fallen. Kaiser's going low as well, and Carzzy will get chased down by the Kalista. Give him a triple. Kobbe picking up kills left, right, and center. Humanoid tries to get the damage down onto Doss, but can't get close enough. The boss survives, and now Humanoid might pay for his over-aggression with his life. Instead, gets back to the inhibitor tower, but Misfits 16 kills to... Oh, okay, he did die. 16 kills to... So, again, I'm just like, nah, he's cool, he's safe. Nothing happens. It's just like, okay, right, he's dead now, obviously.
So, all right, observers, which replay are we going to get? The fight number 1, 2, or 3? Because there have been
They were all
so
the
much
same
action
fight, it's just the game. Just replay the last 20 minutes really quickly.
So, where do we even go back to, Medic? Because, like, so much has just happened. All right, let's have a look. Observer's going to hook us up. All right, so we've got the team fight in the bot lane. Misfits, after losing the Drake, we're making a play towards mid and bot. The ultimate comes out from Razork. He's looking to collapse on the Carzzy, but isn't able to find it. He then puts himself in a difficult situation, so he's forced to use his Onyas. But this is where you see the power of the sustain from Fiddle, because now it's an AoE ability. The moment he comes out, and the fact that Doss is in there to soak up the front line. Look at all the healing that he gets back. It's just like a different version of Aphelios. And because there's no anti-healing reduction, he's just mitigating all that damage. You then also have that bonus execute as well that now exists on his W, and then we don't get to see how Humanoid dies. Let's do a quick 2x speed. Let's see how he actually gets executed here.
I think it's just a shock blast combo. I think he just...
Oh, it has to be, yeah.
I think
he thinks he's safe, he thinks he's comfortable.
Yeah.
Bang, there it is. The dunk comes through from FEBIVEN. Misfits just snowballing this game out of control.
And what a day we have had today, Betty. It's been upset after upset. Mad Lions going from 7-1, looking easily like the best team in the league, and now Misfits like, hey, we have something to say about this. We're going to take you out, the Rabbit versus the Lion, and at the moment the Rabbit is winning. Call of the Forge God was used by Mad to try and get some damage down, but couldn't find any connections. Humanoid is splitting in the bottom lane, does have the teleport if he wants to rejoin this fight. Misfits have total control of this red side jungle, but haven't yet broken the inhibitor line.
Medic, I'm just so impressed with how Misfits have snowballed this game.
So good.
6 towers are already down 20 minutes into the game. The goal difference is 10,000, and they're probably just going to dive him right now. Razork, he has his Onyas. He's got his ultimate up. Here he goes.
That's a really good cast, because the minions were cleared away, and now it's only Razork going in. The Fate's Call will get Doss round towards the side of this, but Razork's going to have to flash away. Humanoid's teleported back into the fight, and Misfits actually limping a little bit here.
Okay,
they have to retreat. They need to go regen, because the cask was so well placed from Shadow at that inhibitor in the top lane.
Yeah, a little overzealous there from Misfits. Mad Lions hold on to their base for now. Humanoid still farming well, but this is probably the worst scoreline we've seen from Humanoid so far this split, and that's not because he's been playing poorly. Razork has been having a fantastic game alongside his support, and I feel like, as we mentioned earlier, we're seeing the Misfits from last season, where it was very much that jungle support, roaming duo looking for picks in the early game, and then Misfits' ability to just hard snowball off the back of this is what's been so impressive. But now they need the Baron, they need to break into the base, and they need to end this game. And we've seen Misfits have some shaky Barons before, Medic, but with their gold advantage, it should be a difficult thing for them to throw.
Oh,
we
Betty,
just have to see how they set that
the
one
amount
up.
of curses we've put on these teams in this game. Oh, I mean, I'll enjoy watching them throw it if they do. We'll see. At the moment, they are in such a strong position. Doss going to step forward. He catches Orome, but
he's got
the rest of
Kalista
Mad
there,
Lions
though.
are on their way. Yeah, he's got Kalista just around the corner. The Fate's Call not available, though, so he couldn't get dragged out. FEBIVEN looking for some damage from the side. Shot blast combo, flash in from DOS, gobble up. As they try and get Carzzy out of the back of the fight, but Kobbe's already on a rampage, and now the chase really begins. Razork going in with a Crow Storm, can't quite find the damage he was looking for, but Kaiser with the thick skin, that shield is going to fall off. FEBIVEN gets the kill. Humanoid is chased down towards the bottom side. He has basically no HP. If I'm reading that right on the side of the scoreboard, he's going to try and clear out the minions as Misfits starts up the Baron. FEBIVEN almost kills Shadow in a single combo. Humanoid is back between the tier 2 and the tier 1 turrets to the inhibitor towers. FEBIVEN flashes forward, Shadow flashes away. Humanoid eventually will die here to Dan. I know you can only see it on the minimap. Oh, we pipped it in. Humanoid trying to kite back, but he dies in the end. Shadow could look for the steal here, but the dragon will be slain by Razork. And the Baron will be slain by Razork, and Misfits in a commanding position. 12,000 gold ahead. 5-0-8 Razork with the Leandries complete. Almost 3 items on Kobbe. He's building up towards his death dance. And Mad Lions really can't do much about this. Kobbe can just chase down anyone he wants. Dan joins the party, joins the Barney as he looks for a little bit of damage on that Ornn. Razork has that flank position. Crow Storm back off cooldown. And I don't think Mad Lions are going to threaten around this dragon.
No, I mean, Misfits can just look to end the game very soon, Fennec. Like, the item comparison, to be fair, the items don't even look that bad for Mad Lions. But you also got to remember, I think a lot of Misfits players haven't even reset yet. Can we quickly look at the gold and see how much has actually been spent? Oh, actually, okay, no, they've actually spent a fair amount. It's only Kobbe and DOS that didn't actually reset in that last fight.
4,000 lead in top and in jungle, though. So
yes, that is true.
Just a slight gold lead.
I mean, there's 3k gold gap in mid lane. There's even a 2k gold gap between the supports, mate. So, yeah, there's quite the item differential. Razork's level 14. And I think they can literally just dive and end right now.
Yep. Dan has a 3-level lead. FEBIVEN equal. 3-level lead for Kobbe over Carzzy, who's not had a good performance. And I see why Mad keep letting the Varus through. They're hoping the enemy teams pick it because they can't play with it that well, according to this game. Misfits going to back off. DOS chunked out just a tad. But the mid lane inhibitor tower is down. And Kobbe's going to try and get bot lane down as well.
He's looking for that flank.
Looking for the initial hook from DOS. Carzzy eaten up there. Almost killed him. Razork stepping forward still, but can't find the connection. The shockwave clears out the minion line, but the inhibitor tower is going to get taken down. FEBIVEN tanked it up for the time being. Dan pushing in mid now, looking for that inhibitor. And with both mid and bot lane inhibitors down, Misfits are just a couple of steps away from taking it down their Nexus and getting the 5th win of the season for themselves.
Man, it has been such a wild day.
Mate, it's been a wild split, let's be honest. Like,
yeah, but
today has been extra wild, but if I had 500 milliliters of wild, this is only an extra 100 milliliters, right? Like, the rest of the split has been pretty darn wild in and of itself.
Yeah. Cool. What a crazy split it's been. We're getting a week off after this.
Thank goodness. I need a week off.
All the teams can reset. Hopefully come back. Like, the games have just been so crazy. Like, the quality is definitely questionable, but at the very least, it's been a lot of fun. Man, it's been a lot of fun. In any case, Baron's going to be wearing off soon for Misfits. They're likely going to have to wait for the next one to... Actually, no, they don't. I'm lying.
No,
they don't need the next Baron.
Benny, they're 13k in the lead.
Just end the game, Misfits. Just so goddamn fed.
The good thing about the game quality today is it really sets us up to watch the LCS later on. So I'm really looking forward to that.
That's mean. That is mean.
That is mean. Anyway, Misfits are going to look to Benny, there's fighting happening. DOS lands the hook there to Carzzy. He's underneath the turret. The inhibitor tower down to about 2/3 of his HP. DOS going in. Carzzy's going to get depth charged out of it. DOS with the gargoyle stone plate, tanking everything up, and Razork is dominating. Double for him. He's looking for more as Orome runs away, but Kobbe will chase him to the ends of the earth. And that end comes pretty quickly for Orome. Super minions pushing in the mid lane. And Misfits are looking for their 5th win of the split. They will be tied 3rd with G2 at the halfway mark. And Mad Lions find only their 2nd defeat in summer 2020. Razork pops the stopwatch. He's going to get the gold after winning this game. Expect him to win the MVP voting. He has had a stellar performance as Misfits close out the win.
Whew.